SUNSOFT is back. You know, those people who made Master Blaster. Holy shit. That takes me back a day, I tell you. Anyway, the SUNSOFT is Back collection by Wet Art Games was originally a Japanese-only game, but now it's available in English. Now, I don't know how directly involved Wet Art Games was in bringing this over, whether they were a driving force of getting it localized or whether it just happened to be happening and they just got involved. I'm not too sure, but this is a collection of 3 SUNSOFT titles. Now, if you're familiar with SUNSOFT, you would probably know them most for Master Blaster. They also did Festus Quest and a good handful of very interesting titles that a lot of retro people. There was a Batman game they were also really well known for too. But personally, I grew up on Master Blaster myself, personally, in regards to SUNSOFT. But so this collection does not likely have any game that anyone outside Japan is probably that familiar with. So it gets 2 platforming adventure games and a text adventure game, a point-and-click text adventure game. So that one in particular is interesting because it's actually not a super cheap Famicom game. These are all Famicom, aka NES games. Whipple Island is a bit pricey, so being not only localized for the first time officially, along with it being an affordable price, does make it a very interesting one. Now, the other 2, the platformers, one you play as a Japanese dude, firework guy, and you basically throw circular fireworks. They look like bombs, but they're supposed to be fireworks. And you're basically traveling this really famous trail to try and get to the end with your fireworks. Well, this gang of hoodlums wants your secrets on how to make your fireworks for their own notorious means. It's kinda, I should say, I don't feel like it's the title that you're gonna run down to the store and get. If you're very interested in historical games on the Famicom, or particularly SUNSOFT history, it's interesting in that sense, but I don't think it's anything you're gonna be clamoring over. Now the other title is a little bit more interesting. It has a few unique flaws at a few spots, which makes it a little tough. It's definitely not one of those friendly NES games. Now, luckily, this game does retain where you can save anywhere, you can rewind to a certain point backwards, not infinitely. It is a timed rewind. You can use those to your advantage if you're pretty bad at unforgiving NES games. And to be fair, these 2 games are pretty unforgiving. So, yeah, don't blame you on making some use, especially playing blind. If you're playing blind, God rest your soul. Anyway, the second adventure game it's kind of like a mixed RPG side-scrolling adventure game. And the thing, if you play it blind, especially if you play it blind, there are bajillions of dead ends and shit in the game that will just waste your resources. So honestly, it's the type of game I couldn't blame you for using a guide on, because it is very deliberate in modeling you for exploring in a blind sense. And on top of it, always having several little segments that are a little unfair. We'll show those off as we do the footage here behind me, as you'll see, I'm sure. But it definitely is the more interesting out of the 2 titles, in my opinion. The small RPG aspect to it. It's a little bit of an interesting idea, but it's not perfect. As a collection of 3 titles, honestly, I mean, it could have done better, to be honest. I mean, come on. These are Famicom cartridge games on a PS5 disc. You could easily fit way more titles on here than that. So it feels kinda odd to see a collection. Like, I mean, fuck, we've had PS2 collections that are more games on this. Like, this is a really small fucking collection. It just feels like SUNSOFT is really being kind of stingy on the titles. I get you don't want to put like hundreds of titles on one single thing there, but I mean 3, really. Now, I found Whipple Island pretty interesting too. It is a pretty simple point-and-click game. It's not exactly anything too insane. Like, it's pretty par the course, and you can save and rewind. The rewind probably has less use here. You're probably more better off just saving, because, like, you know, a lot of point-and-click games, they're all bad choices that can lead to bad ends. Luckily, the game isn't super long, especially if you know exactly what you're doing as you learn. So, if you're playing it blindly, you'll eventually stumble your way through the game. But to be fair, it does leave a lot of moments of where you're just trying to figure out what the fuck to do sometimes, like some old point-and-click games will, because you do have to interact with the environment and grab and find shit and stuff. So, yeah, that can lead to some problems on some of the puzzles or what to do situations in the game. Overall, though, I'd say 2 out of 3 titles are definitely interesting to check out, so I think that's actually a nice role for a critical strike, though, to be honest. Now, again, these aren't going to be for everyone. If you're not in the NES, retro, or really older titles, especially if you're a youngling, these probably ain't going to be yours. But if you're interested in older titles, and like I said, all 3 of these titles, this is their first debut in official English localization and being officially for sale. So definitely 2 of them, in my opinion, are worth checking out if you're into retro titles. But, you know, if you're into wanting to check out some new games in the retro market as well, I mean, the 3rd one is worth a look, but it wasn't my personal cup of tea myself. Overall, though, yeah, I think if they just put a few more titles in here, I think it would definitely be a very excellent collection. But it just seems a little weird just to be three titles. Just, I mean, I get they localized them, but I mean, even in Japan, it was still just 3 titles, so, I don't know. It just seems a little blah to me. But, yeah, for the right price, I don't think it's bad. Now, if you want the physical version, it is still available, so you're looking at about, like, I think it was like $34.99 in European money. So, yeah, it's a little pricey for it, to be honest. So this is a bit of a tough price to recommend. Honestly, I mean, the 3 titles, I think I wouldn't really go higher than $19.99. So you could either wait for sale or check out what digital prices are and sales and stuff. Because, I mean, again, if it was just, I don't know, maybe at least like 5, 6 titles. It just, 3 seems like such a very minuscule amount of games. Because it's not that, like, SUNSOFT doesn't have other games. They certainly do have other games. Now, obviously, in a case of, like, Batman, you know, I could see, like, obviously, that would be a licensing issue. I don't know if they still retain the ownership of Master Blaster, though. I mean, there were some new Master Blaster games. I kind of assumed SUNSOFT was still related to those, but I don't know that for a fact, to be honest. Maybe I'll insert that here. Fun fact. Trivia! Anyway, I think it's worth a little look, though, if you're into old stuff. Otherwise, I'd say it's just a pass. Don't think it's a dud, though. So, I think we got 2 hits out of 3 in here, so you'll have to make up your ultimate choice at the end of the day, whether it's your cup of tea. After all, that is the point of a review, to give you information to have a formal idea of whether you want to buy the game or not. Not me telling you you should or shouldn't. That's what a good review should do. Anyway, take it easy. And don't get lost out there in NES land.